Right, and we'll go.
Hello.
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 I'm gonna start off on a bit of a very serious note. Very serious note. Uh,
Uh-oh.
so I just want to say that I think we should start by giving our condolences out to those that have been caught up in the incident today. Just gone on this evening in the city of Plymouth. I don't know if you've heard about it.
No.
I don't want to go into it too much, but for those that don't know, there's reports of a serious firearms incident.
Okay.
A gunman has been shot, and there's a number of fatalities, a number of casualties, and basically this shit shouldn't happen in this country. So I just wanted to I thought it was best to start off by bringing that up for those obviously who listen or follow us.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep.
So our thoughts go out to those that are involved.
Yep.
So that's all I want to
Like
say
you
on that
said.
anyway. So I don't think we should give the perpetrator any more airtime, I suppose, and waste any
No,
more
no,
of our
no.
time.
No, no, no.
So welcome everyone. You're listening to HCG. This is episode 7. Welcome to those that are listening, those that are watching, and those just probably just don't give a fuck and they've just they're just here for a laugh. Very quickly, I just want to kind of bring up. Well, first of all, we've got a nice view of the side of your head there.
I
I
know.
don't know what was going on.
I had to fix that. I could only hear it in one ear.
I just want to quickly mention last week we were trying to work out what the new Pro Evo was called. Soon after that, it just came to my head, so that was eFootball.
So they are changing the name.
The name is changing. It's changing to eFootball. That's how it's going to come out as. So
Okay.
that was just a quick little point to
When's it
make
out?
last week. I think it's already on the go now. They've
All
just
right, okay.
re-released it as eFootball. Um,
My
the
headset seems to be broke for some bizarre reason. Sorry.
They still only hear me out of one ear. You
It's
look like
fine, and then
you
it.
look like you want me to shout. You're putting one ear to the camera there, like you want me to shout at you. Like hey. Um,
I've also got a very wriggly baby tonight, so
yeah. So if we lose you, it's all right.
yeah. Well, if you hear any weird noises, it's Craig.
Yeah. Cheers.
No worries. Fire on.
Um, Before we get on, to obviously what we've been playing and what we're going to play, etc. I just want to make a little point. I don't know if you've heard about the new MMO called New World.
Yes, I have.
You
Yes.
have, yeah. So I'll give a quick overview. So this comes from a game developer called Amazon Games. The game, I mean, don't get me wrong. The game, I've seen some trailers. I've seen a little bit of gameplay. The game looks amazing. Aspects of crafting, building mechanics, woodcutting, mining, fishing, battling, all that type of stuff we like in an MMO that we like to play.
Yep.
Um, but the biggest thing that I want to chat about is not that. It's revolving around the issue with the graphics cards. Have you heard about this?
But you can't get them.
No. So the game is currently in beta, right?
That game.
Yep, that game is currently in beta, and the people that are playing it, right, are having issues where their graphics cards are being fried by the game. So there's something in the game where the game's literally taking people's graphics cards and just they're running at top speed. The frame rates drop right down to 0, and then it just crashes and it burns them out. Um,
That's mental. Is it on
it's
a specific range of graphics cards,
I
or
don't
has
know if
this
it's
been?
I don't know if it's specific ones, but basically, it's looks like it's a lot of them that have been claiming it's on the new 3090 graphics cards.
What?
Yep. So basically, um, what this Amazon Games have decided to do now, because obviously it's becoming more apparent that it's frying all these cards, they've turned around now and said that we will, or supposedly said that we will start replacing your card if this is happening due to playing our game.
That, yeah, that's
Now,
great. But what they're going to
now,
replace them with?
now, what the obviously to put it in perspective, these 3090 RTX cards are
Yeah,
around
they're
about
over a
they're
grand.
about they're around about 2 grand plus over here.
They are now because of scalpers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of what you're looking at. So, um, good luck
You're
basically replacing them.
not gonna. Yeah,
That's
you're
all I
not
was
gonna
going to
be
say
able to
on that.
replace them.
But
You're not going to be able to.
my little gripe with this is, yes, they're talking about replacing them, but what you've got to ask yourself is this solely the game's fault, the game developer's fault? Should the like Nvidia or someone like that be putting something in there to stop these cards from, overclocking, like put like a throttle on it, so literally if it hits a certain point, just cut them out?
So I would probably say that there is safeguards in cards to stop them from going to certain things. And generally speaking, graphics cards, because you can overclock things, you can overclock graphics cards. Generally speaking, once you overclock something, it crashes because it just gets to the point where it can't handle it. To crash it in a way that physically fries the card, and the fact that a game is doing that as opposed to anything else, it can't specifically be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because I've not looked into it enough, but I'd probably say that it's either specifically is, and like if it's a specific graphics card, yeah. So like you got to remember, so your 3090s, your 3080s, your 70s, your TIs, all these kind of stuff. They're all the same. Some of them are just better than they're just got more memory or whatever. Can go at slightly higher clock range. If it's all of them,
Yeah.
then it could be a new technology that's been turned on in that card that's causing the problem.
Don't know the full range, but what I do know is it seems to be happening when people are going in, funnily enough, not the game, but the menu. There's something in the menu, from what I've heard, where they're going in there and the card doesn't. It's like the computer goes, right, you're not playing a game, it's all right, you're only in a menu, but for some reason it just speeds up, it gets right up 100%, clocking out, frame rates drop, and then what happens is it's crashing, then people are trying to boot up the game or the PC again or whatever, and it's just saying your graphics card's just non-existent. It's gone.
Because it shouldn't. That's weird. I would agree with you. I would probably look into it to the point where it must be specific graphics cards because that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. I do
Your
know
graphics
the
cards,
RTX 3090s have been doing it, but I have heard that there's
yeah,
another one, but I can't, don't quote me on that.
it's probably in the 30. It might be in the 30 ranges.
Yeah.
But the reason for that is because of safeguard. It's not even because of safeguards. These things turn off
Yeah.
when they can't handle what you're throwing at them. Yeah, because, and the reason why I say this is because you can stress test a card.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take it to you can run a benchmark, 3D Max or whatever. You can run a benchmark program, and you can push that card to the very limits of its capability without it crashing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will try and do the task that it's trying to do as fast as possible. There is ones that you can do to push it to breaking point because you can try and overclock them or whatever. But that's like you're physically changing clock speeds and stuff like this. For a game to do it,
But I think what it is
there must be something wrong
when you're doing the
that.
benchmarking, it does take it up to that limit, but it knows to kind of go, right, this is my limit now, and then comes back down. What's happening?
Well, it does.
This is going there, and it's fucking staying there.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like
right, it does. It's burning out. It's literally.
No, but what I'm saying is, do I blame the game creators for even doing anything that's burning a card out? But in my opinion of this, without looking into it in more detail, I would have to say that must be a driver issue with the card.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
That something is turning on, something's being activated or whatever, that's pushing the card past the point that it shouldn't be able to go past. Because you shouldn't be able to do it. Yeah. Electronics, the stuff is designed to go as fast as you can possibly take it until it's not stable. And when it's not stable, it turns off.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it burns it out. Generally speaking, you're burning a graphics card out if it's going too hot. So the only thing that could possibly happen would be that it's going too hot too quickly to the point that even switching it off isn't quick enough.
Well, as far as I'm aware, I think it's staying up there and people are just continuing in the game. And then eventually it's obviously getting hotter and hotter and hotter. It doesn't go to a temperature and then cool down. It goes to a temperature.
I'm not being funny, but people who've got 3090s, they should be paying attention enough that their graphics cards are going mental in their machine.
I mean, I'm no computer whiz kid, but I bought this thing here. And what was I like to you? I was like, Mike, my computer sounds a bit too loud. It's
But
and I was checking
tempering
everything.
just
I was clocking it, and then
yeah.
in the end, I took it to our
So,
local, um,
so
a local company, and they
you,
repasted it for me and redid it all.
yeah, they had a look at it and checked it over and like kind of sorted your confidence out with it, which is grand.
Yeah,
But if I'm not, so you play on your PC now, right? You're playing your games. You kind of know what your PC sounds like. Yeah.
yeah,
You throw a new world on. No offense. Okay, the graphics is pretty good, but you don't need a 3090 to run it
hmm
because it's an MMO, so it's not AAA graphics and AAA hard on your computer. And then you start playing the game, and it gets to the menu,
I don't know.
and
It does look amazing.
yeah, but it's not. It's not the way they make those games. It doesn't run the same hard as something else like other AAA games do. It just doesn't the way MMOs work. Because a lot of the stuff, because you're playing it on a server, a lot of the stuff is rendered on the server side, not on your side.
Yeah,
Because you obviously have to interact with a lot of other people, so they can't have everything on your PC doing it. So they do a lot their side, right? That's why it kind of looks pretty good for pretty much anyone who plays it. You don't get massively big dips between like FPS and stuff in MMOs. But in this scenario, if you're 30 net or your PC starts to sound like a jet when you're turning that on, I'd be pretty skeptical of what's going on.
hmm.
Maybe you can't do anything about it. Maybe it just triggers it and that's it. It turns on and you can't turn it off again. But um,
Possibly. I don't know.
new
I don't know the full ins and
new
outs
one
of
for
what they're
me.
doing, but
There's
um,
new world. You said it was, wasn't it?
yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that up and just wondered if you knew about it. Like, don't get me. I want to touch the
No.
game. I want to go on it, but stuff like that just scares the life out of me.
But breaking your graphics card.
Yeah, I just think, oh, if it's going to do that, I might as well just wait. You wait till
But
till
find someone who's got a 3090, right?
what is this? Is this like a treasure hunt or something? Find someone who's got a 3090.
Well, in a forum or something. Get them to take a picture of their
Put it
setup.
on. Put this game on for me.
No. Get them to take a picture of the setup,
Yeah.
right? And then you play the game, and when it breaks your graphics card, you phone them up, contact them, and say, "I was playing it with this. This is my setup. Here's the pictures of my setup." And then they send you a new 3090
Oh,
out.
that's naughty. That's naughty.
The one thing they shouldn't just send you a 3090 out. Like I find this a lot with like companies and stuff is so they're going to compensate you by giving you what you already had.
Yeah, but I don't think they feel like 100% that it is their fault. They're accepting some blame, possibly, but I don't think they're.
They should accept some blame because they shouldn't have that kind of bug
Yeah,
that does that sort of thing. But if the bug's an unknown thing from a graphics card supplier, where the graphics card's clearly not safe enough, so the question will boil down to the fact of whether it's New World that have caused the problem. Now, if they're backed by Amazon, Amazon will back them in supplying them with new parts. Because let's face it, if Amazon games don't do well, they've got a big problem
yeah,
because they've spent a lot of money on that. But if it's Nvidia that's the issue, um, if it's Nvidia that's the issue, though, I would be surprised that we're not hearing more about it
yeah.
because a lot of people have them. So,
Aye.
yeah, what
Well,
was the game called?
that's called New World.
Right. So if you've got a 3090, don't pay New World
Until you know otherwise.
mate. If you've bought a £2,000 graphic card, you've probably got enough money to buy another one.
Yeah. Obviously, going on from there, obviously, we're just chatting about MMOs in general. So there's, I just kind of wanted to. I'm not too sure on whether the game's going to be free to play or there's other games. These other MMOs that are free to play. I kind of just want to know your stance on things like battle passes and skins and crap like that. So we're talking like your Fortnite buying a skin. You're talking Call of Duty where people were buying what's it called? Bruce Willis from Die Hard. John McClane.
Yeah,
They were buying John
yeah.
McClane for like I don't know what it was, £20 or something like that for a skin. Doesn't do anything different. I think you got like a skin, so a few weapons, a couple of other little skins as well.
Uh,
Mate,
I
I'm shit at the game. If I bought John McClane and some weapons and stuff, and it made me better at the game, fair enough. But it's
I,
not going to make
I
me any better.
unfortunately, I think some people do buy them because they like how they look and they think the character looks cool in their opinion,
Hmm.
like their own opinion.
Yeah, but you can't even see it half the time.
Oh, okay, maybe not the skin for your character, but like maybe in a replay. But you know, like the weapon skins or whatever like that. Some of the games do look cool, and like I've played. I mean, like played Overwatch and all these, and you get nice skins and your character and stuff, and you do like the idea of getting them. If you're getting them for you
Yeah.
and you're buying them because you like them for yourself, and it's like a bolster in your own confidence or whatever, um, then I'm not against it. If you're buying them as a stature for other people, then I don't agree with it because it's like a brand thing.
Yeah.
It's like you know,
Well,
you having like a
that's Fortnite. That Fortnite and
yeah,
Call of
yeah. I
Duty.
know. I don't.
They're all branded with it being stars or well-known characters and this, that, and the other.
I mean, people want the ability to progress in games, which is what that is.
But then you say that, and I think a good example is what you mentioned there when you said Overwatch. Now, I played that game. I enjoyed the game. I started getting good at it, but then one of the things that was driving me through that game was to earn enough credits to buy one of the skins that I wanted to get. If I
But
was to
the
buy that,
difference,
then I'm I'm
yeah,
cheat. I know I'm not cheating a game. I'm cheating myself out of progression in a game to that's my goal. I'm heading towards a goal, and that's what I want to get to.
I think it might be a. I think it's a possibly an age thing with people though. Like what I mean by brands, like people going, um, walking around wearing the latest fashion or whatever like that,
Hmm.
and other people don't. And there's this like stature thing. If I'm wearing that, I'm more popular or whatever like that.
Yeah,
I think that comes into it a little bit, especially in like probably a younger generation than ourselves. Um, but yeah, like you say, Overwatch for me was quite good because you couldn't buy them.
I think you could buy credits,
I'm not
which
sure.
I think you could buy credits. It wasn't as in your face as in most games. You had to kind of go through like a couple of little menus before you got to it, and I think you could buy credits that you could then use those credits to buy the skins. But it's not like where Fortnite it goes, oh, go in the store now, there's something new for you in the store, and you're like, yes, I've got something new, and you get there and it goes, you can now get 1,000 credits with £2 off, and it's like, well, that's not something new for me. That's just you trying to push, monetary value through, to yourselves.
Um, I I think yeah, it's weird. I don't like where it goes, but then I kind of understand it at the same time.
Hmm.
Like I don't buy them.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't spend money to get skins and things for games, but I also don't agree on having pay to win.
oh no, no,
So
that's a big
pay to
no.
win, so pay to win gets banished, right? You can't have pay to win. That's just ridiculous,
Hmm.
right? You know, buying skins and all these kind of things. I think that you should always have the ability to unlock the same skins without paying for them,
Yeah,
and maybe and the ability to buy them. If people want to buy them, then I understand why, but I kind of I know where you're coming from because I don't agree with some of it, but I think there's a good example of it though. Like you talk about Fortnite, but I think GTA 5's like the biggest grossing game for online with buying extra content because
but
you can buy
he's
in-game money for
yeah.
the game.
So he's another example for you, right? So Pokemon Unite at the minute it's on the Nintendo Switch. That's currently under a bit of scrutiny. The reason being is because I think it's when you level up. There's a way you can pay. It's kind of a pay to win. So you can pay to kind of help level up your character. Now, when you get to a specific level, I can't remember what that is. In order to kind of progress and level up without spending money, you've got to put in like something ridiculous, like 100 hours, as an
It's pay to
example.
win.
So yeah, that comes pay to
So,
win.
so you so you
GT,
start the game.
GTA though, on the other hand, I feel
GTA
as
is
though
not pay.
yeah, I feel as though that type of game is you can
Uh,
progress in it easily. The amount of times I've gone on GTA at the beginning, I remember they gave out $1 million or credits or whatever it was at the start, didn't they? For
yeah, I
players,
don't.
they
I
could,
don't agree with. I don't agree with GTA allowing you to buy in-game money.
yeah, it's the shark cards, isn't it, that they sell?
Yeah, I don't particularly like that because you play, and the reason why is because you play GTA Online, play events, and do heists to earn money,
Yeah,
and by buying the money, you're removing that concept.
yeah, but then that's like the Overwatch scene, then, isn't it? So when you play GTA, you play to have a goal, you play to do missions, you do this, that, and the other to earn credits to buy better. Well, it's not even better
But
cars,
that's what I mean. You're
better
taking it
looking
away, though.
cars, better. Yeah, but then those that want to pay that money, for me, you're a bit of an idiot because what you're doing in that
Yeah,
fight
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is you're
Yeah.
kind of going right. There's this multiplayer, and you can do all this, that, and the other, and you earn credits, and you can buy a wicked house and a wicked car, and blah
Yeah,
blah
but
blah.
what's the point if you're
But
just going to buy it?
I'm just going to buy it and I'm going to cut out all that so I don't have to do anything and I can drive around and do fuck all and have no, you know, you've
Yeah,
just, there's no credibility in the fact that you've got that car, you've got that house, you've got them clothes on because you've
yeah,
done
I
nothing
agree.
to earn them other than worked a few hours at work. And that's the other thing. You've probably got to work about 2 or 3 hours. What have you got to show for it that 2 or 3 hours? I'm driving around in a virtual Lamborghini.
Yeah, it's probably less time than it would take you to play the game and get it.
Do you know what I mean?
No, 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 I agree. I think we're on the same page because we both don't buy that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. Um,
And you've got to look at, was it Battlefield where EA dropped, was it Battlefield where they dropped the, or was it the Star Wars Battlefront where they dropped the loot boxes?
no, there was a big thing. That was a big thing with.
Because there was a court case and gambling and this, that, and the other. But at the
No,
time,
that was a big thing with the Lord of the Rings game
right,
where it wasn't just that wasn't just pay to win. It wasn't just stuff like that. It was actually pay to win
right,
in that kind of game. And I have a couple of aspects on it, and it's a very difficult one really. If you were because you got to look at it from the content creator side as well. So if you're making a game, yeah, if you make a game and that game you put all this money into it, and this game, sells or whatever, or goes on Xbox Game Pass or whatever like that, and you make some money off it, the fact that you can add these things in that is going to make you more money for the same game that you've already launched
yeah,
that are very easy to add into the game
yeah, yeah,
is quite a win-win. Now, it depends on the developer in that sense of things. If they're going to take that money and put it into DLC and make really good content or make really good other games, then maybe that's fair. But I also don't agree with them. You shouldn't spend money on anything that's like a chance thing either.
yeah,
Yeah, so if you're buying credits in a game that buys you something that you don't know what's in it, and I know FIFA's just changed their ruling on this, so like you actually know what's in the packs now for the team game that you play on there, where you buy the little
I
packs.
think what they've turned around and said as well, or it's what's been trying to, it's either going to happen or it's the wanting it to happen, is they want to actually tell you the chance of, so say if Ronaldo or Messi is, your top card, they have to show now the percentage, the chance of you actually getting that card. They have to give you
Yeah,
that
I mean
information now.
it's weird though, isn't it? It is a bit weird because there is a part of it where opening a loot box or opening a game pass or something, opening some not a game pass, but opening something that has a chance of getting it and you actually get it
Hmm.
is pretty cool. I just don't. I think you can. I'm all for having them in games,
It is, but it's gambling
right?
in a way.
Well, it's only gambling if you're paying money for it.
Yes.
So, like Overwatch, you do. I don't know if Overwatch would have to check if it's got currency in it that you got to pay for, right? But if you had a game where you rolled and you randomly get something, if you don't pay for that, if it's in-game currency that you can't buy,
Hmm.
then
Yeah,
it's not gambling.
that's classed as virtual gambling as such, which is
Yeah, but you
which
can't. But
I'm
see,
not saying it's gambling that side of it. What some people are saying, that's a gateway to gambling because it's virtual gambling, but I don't
because you get the
see.
bug, because you get the bug in it.
Yeah, but because then
You get the
also
bug of
if a game like Overwatch where you can earn credit and do it, and then you get what you're like, oh, it's a bit of a buzz, and then you get something good, but then all of a sudden you go, oh, hang on, I can buy these credits as well now, and that's when you're
no, but you
introduced.
shouldn't be allowed to buy the credits. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, I agree with you. You've said we're both on the same kind of wavelength, so, but yeah,
I don't.
my stance is I just don't like them,
I think
or
if you, I think if you remove the gambling part of it,
get
and you don't have pay to win, and then there's things for people to buy,
yeah,
it
no.
is it's their choice if they want to buy it. That's
Yeah,
it.
for me, it's no pay to win. Yeah, you can put
Yeah.
skins, put whatever the hell you like in it, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, but don't shove it in my face. I can't stand it when it's all over the screen. And it's, oh, buy this, get discount. About this is currently on offer.
Yeah, I don't like the discount stuff. Like this is currently on offer, trying to win people over because it's cheaper, and I know that's a tactic. Um, I also don't agree with a lot of these games. You know, when you can buy currency in games,
Yeah,
and it's like if you pay this much, you'll get 500, and if you pay this much, you'll get 1,000, and if you pay this much, you get 5,000. But it's not actually any cheaper either.
well, Xbox were guilty of doing that. They used to
Like,
do 500, 1,000, 1,500, didn't they? But then, I think my argument with the guy we used to play with a while back, I said, there's no incentive of buying the extra. What they should do is when you buy the extra, you get a discounted price.
yeah, you should do, but they don't. None of them do
If
it.
it's £10 for
They don't do it on
500,
anything.
it shouldn't be 20
No.
for 1,000. What it should be is 19, 18. Just something a
Yeah,
little bit
but
off.
it's not. It's not because they know people have to buy them, so they
Yeah,
don't bother. I think that's a bit of a. It's a problem because it probably depends on the game that's being bought because a lot of games that are out there are or games developers that are out there have boards that are in it for the money.
yeah,
And if you've got a way of making a lot of money from a game, then the return on investment is a lot quicker. And if you're, you know, crucifying some people because they're spending all the hard-earned money on some daft skins or some chance to roll some dices or whatever, they're probably going to do it. To be fair, um, in my opinion of it, and this is probably generally my opinion of it, right? So I saw something the other day, and it was called. It's in the UK, and it's called Henry. I think it's called Henry. It's like a debit card that you can track for your kids.
yep. I've had one of these, by the way, for my
Have you?
daughter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right, so you've got like an app on your phone, you can monitor what's on the money. If they do like household tasks or whatever, you can give them pocket money to it. And it's their card, right? And you can see what they're spending it on, right?
yep.
In that regard, right? Or even another one that I can tell you about as well is so then they can only spend a certain amount of money, and that's the thing, right? If you're giving them too much, if you're giving them a lot of money and they can just spend willy nilly on it, then you've got a bit of a problem, right? There's another one that's out at the moment, and it's a thing called Privacy.
Hmm.
You sign up to Privacy. It's completely free, and you can have a virtual debit card,
Right.
right? So you sign up, and then when you go to pay for something, the pay for option comes up with Privacy next to the card button. When you click Privacy, you get a card that's just it appears, and you'll get this fake card effectively, and you can say how much money you want to put on that card, and you can
Right.
pay for whatever it is, right? And you can say whether it's a multi-use or a one-time use or whatever like that, right? So like these things where you pay like £1 for the first subscription and then you've got to cancel it after.
Yeah, yeah.
Privacy card's perfect because you just put £1 on it, you pay for it, and then they can't charge your card again because it's one-time use. In that scenario, that would be really handy because if you've got a kid and the problem is the kid's got money and the kid's just spending all of his money on stuff like Fortnite skins, then you could probably limit him because you could instead of taking all of his money off him, on his normal card, you could let him use. You could set him up with a privacy card that
Yeah,
only
well,
has so much money on it.
I had one called, it was Nimble, and then I moved her over to Go Henry.
Yeah.
And you can set limits on those. You can do it online, like set limits online, or you can stop them from even spending online. There's loads
See,
of
so
features that, and the only
that's
reason
better.
I'll just quote out there, the only reason I actually got her one of those cards at the time is because she was under the age of 11. Obviously now she's over 11 now. She's got her own bank card through my current bank, but
Yeah, yeah.
it was great for that. But yeah, I think if you're having problems with your kids though, for that you need to give your kids heads a freaking wobble because
No, but we talk, we kind of, this touches on a little bit of a topic where they said that Xbox Live, or Xbox spend on the Xbox Store and stuff was up.
yeah,
Now that people have gone into subscriptions because people are buying skins and all this kind of stuff. You have kids, they're into stuff like Fortnite, Christmas and other things come along. If they're into that sort of game, they're not buying other games.
hmm
They don't care that there's all these other games on Game Pass and everything else. The thing that they're going to ask for is points for those sort of game consoles,
yeah,
and then they'll go spend it on all the skins on Fortnite. Um, I think there's some education that needs to be done there for people
oh yeah, definitely,
to realize that that's not like, it doesn't give you stature because you've got a golden gun. No one cares. But how you do it, I don't know. I've had friends. I've had friends who've spent £200, £300 on Candy Crush for extra lives.
oh, I know of people who've done stuff like that. So, but
And why? What are you doing it for?
idiots.
Um, yeah, but they are. But then I think the guidance part of it, where they're saying about anti-gambling and all these kind of laws, is that we shouldn't give people the ability to do that sort of thing in the first place. Like, it's not fair.
Yeah,
People should be better, but some people have a genuine problem and are not better.
yeah,
Doesn't even go down to that road. It goes down the road of even playing games in general. I've got a mate back in Middlesbrough. One of my mates went to school with him. He failed his first year in university because he's playing World of Warcraft every day. Every day he played World of Warcraft. It was more important to him than university was.
right. But yeah,
And people, so I only bring that up because there is
it is a
people.
bit of an addiction, can it? It can be an addiction,
Yeah,
just
there is.
gaming in general. But
Yeah, so there is a problem with it in general terms, and you're
yeah,
going to get people like that have this problem. And should we put safeguards and stuff to stop people doing that? Yes, but there's got to be a line where games developers are doing that, and people are also using their own savvy
yeah. So
to be that way.
overall, then on Game Passes, I think we've got the same stance. We you know,
Well, you're saying game passes, but that's not what we just talked about.
sorry, battle passes. Sorry, battle passes, skins, all this type of stuff.
See,
Basic stuff.
but battle passes are different though, aren't they? Because battle passes tell you what you're going to get.
I'm just kind of grouping them all in a whole. Not all of them do. Some of them you can get random drops and this, that, and the other. But I think we're in a
I
thing.
don't like I don't like battle passes. No.
Yeah, I don't want to kind of. I want to kind of press on. I don't want to
Okay, let's move on.
get stuck on them for too long. But yeah.
You can buy my battle pass, and I'll speed up.
Depends how much.
it's
I'll give you the slice of toast.
it's reduced.
Another one to go with that
For
one. You're
what?
shoving. Another one to go with that one. You're shoving in your mouth.
It's reduced for one day only.
You know what I say to that? Swivel. Right.
More than two, mate. More than
Just
£2.
I wanted to bring up very quickly. I don't go into it too much, but I know you've just recently purchased a game today.
Hmm.
Orcs Must Die 3. Basically,
Yeah.
I want to kind of know.
Why?
It's that whole, yeah, well, it's that whole thing of, right, you've not played it, you don't know much about it. What's driven you towards this game? Obviously, we won't go too much into it now because I think we're going to try and get onto this like after this, so then we can have a full discussion on it next week. But just
Quite interesting that you pointed out. Actually, people playing it.
right.
Yeah, it happened. It came up on
So is it
one of the
trailers you've watched, or is it like gameplay footage, or what?
that was gameplay footage. There was some
Right,
people trying to beat some kind of record on it.
right,
On YouTube that I watched it on. Probably one of my go-to people that I watch certain things with. Content creators generally watch a lot of people that play certain games. They're trying to beat some kind of record, so because they'd found some glitch. They whacked it on. I had heard of the game before, and I think I've seen stuff of the game
I
before
think
because I
I've seen the
knew.
previous versions. I've never, I
Yeah.
hadn't seen number 3, but
Um, I looked at it. And to be honest, was it what they were doing in the game? Because it's a wave based game. Try and survive. Don't let your crystal get broken. Um, you get money for destroying enemies, and you can build traps and try and stop them getting there. Kind of like the original part of Fortnite.
right.
Um,
The original
it's got
part is in the have zombie waves.
like
You have a little
the
build and
zombie
you
wins.
inflict it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, the
that was the
campaign.
best
Yeah,
part of Fortnite. I remember we had that
in my
before.
opinion, that
Yeah,
was the best part of Fortnite. Yeah. It had dogs in it, quite colourful looking, looked quite fun, quite a lot of different traps in it. I like tower defense games, wave games in general, and for me, probably it just ticked the box with the type of games that I like.
right.
Um,
So
Price wise, and to be honest, oh, actually, that did make me go have a look at like the review of the game, what other people were saying about the game, and it's got 4.5 out of 5 stars for most people's reviews. So
yeah, I think I seen
it's not.
7 or 8 out of 10. So between 7 or 8 out of 10
So it's
on
getting a lot of
Metacritic.
ground.
Not that you can take Metacritic by gospel mind, but it's more so the user reviews. I think I usually try and
Yeah,
check out if I can.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So that was all. I don't have that style of game. Remember, there was another game we used to play. It was something towers.
but the tower defense
Um,
one,
yeah, it was similar principle where you had little characters and they all had their own moves, and then you could all build your own different towers.
right? Okay, was that the
Um,
one with where you had the wizard and all that type of
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what that one is, but yeah, I think
Pretty
I remember that.
similar, pretty similar to that sort of game, but
Yeah.
um, with funny looking orcs in it, and by the looks of it, just pretty fun in general. That was all.
All right. Yeah. So that's Orcs Must Die 3. Obviously, we're gonna have a try and have a little go at that
Yeah,
one.
it's pretty new out as well. I think it only came out this month or last month.
Right. So we're gonna try and give that a go this evening. See how that goes, and then we'll chat about that next week. I think. Give our reviews on that. Um,
Yeah.
before we move on to games we played this week, is there anything you kind of want to quickly throw in there? Are we happy to move on to games we played?
No, I'm alright.
No, we'll go on to that then. Right, very quickly then. So, I say I don't want to take up too much time this evening, so we've got time to have a go on that. I know, obviously, yourself and myself have been playing together this week, so we've both been playing a bit of Splitgate there. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, we jumped on that for a bit,
Yep.
which
Remastered edition.
I was fucking terrible.
Well, we figured out why we stopped playing it. Oh well, why Greg stopped playing it.
To be fair, I had a shit team. For 3 games we played, the same guy on my own fucking team wiped me out. So yeah, we had a little
Yeah.
go on that. That was alright. I'm back on Immortals Fenyx Rising, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. I've bought the season pass on that now as well, so I've got all the add-ons. So I'm loving that. Um, very. I just want to quickly mention as well. Obviously, we spoke about Killer Queen Black last week.
Yeah, yeah, it was good.
At the time, we were trying to fathom out what the game was just from a bit of reading that we'd done.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so, Mike, if you want to kind of take the floor on that one and explain kind of where we're at with that, what you
yeah.
thought, what did you think of it?
Yeah, we were trying to like extrapolate what the game would be like without actually playing the game yet. That was
Yeah.
kind of funny.
I'd quickly jump in there though, because one thing I did say to you last week was, if you see the pictures of this game, like just as an image, a still image, I think my words to you is you'll think it's shit and you won't want to play it. Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Would you agree?
Um, I was
just purely from the images.
I I
It looks like
it's-
some to me. It looks like some off a 1980s with the arcade machine.
no, yeah, okay. So yes, to answer your question, yes, it wouldn't be a game that I would probably look at because I'm not like mega on graphics, but I just like I've said in the past, if I wanted to play a retro looking game, I'd go play a retro game. Like it's
Yeah.
easy enough. Um, but I think from what we'd already talked about, and the fact that you'd said anyway, I had an opinion of what it would look like,
Hmm.
and I actually had it in my head how it would maybe play out, and I didn't expect it to be laid out the way it was laid out
All right. Okay.
because it was more like a platform game,
Yeah. You could
and
fly. You could
I
fly though, and you could go off the screen and go
but
on
like
the
a
screen.
platform, like Mario
Yeah.
style platform game,
Yeah.
effectively.
Yeah.
Very similar to the Mario thing when you used to go
With the
left and you got
pow. Yeah. You had the
the
pow in the
pow,
middle.
the power, yeah.
Pow.
So it had like that level content.
Yeah.
I didn't quite expect it to be like that. I don't know why. I thought it might have been like maybe a top down RTS kind of style view
Right.
is the way they would have done it. I don't disagree with the way they did it. Um, I think the fact that it's all on one screen and you don't really move anywhere and stuff plays into the game mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Your characters move around. I just clarify that your characters move around, but the screen
but
you
the
just
background.
move. Yeah. Your screen doesn't move. Nothing else moves around. Just yourself.
Um,
It's just a static level.
it's a funny. All that stuff's funny content, funny, interesting because would you got to question games, don't you? Like if that game was like made again but with full graphics,
It's a
right?
brilliant concept.
Yeah, but if it was made again with full graphics, would you expect more out of the game? And what I mean by that is like, so when you play the B, like, and you're attacking, you've got like 2 or 3 attack moves. You don't have the same attack move, but just in different directions.
Yeah.
Would you? Do you? That's a good question. Do you automatically expect more when you've just had better graphics?
Um. Probably. Probably.
So
Yeah.
if that game, it's like Mario, right? If Mario came out now with like super duper duper 3D graphics,
Well,
but you only had but you only had 2 buttons to jump around on it.
there is a couple of the new Mario's, isn't there, on the Switch? Which yes, they do. Where you have like your hat and you can throw it out, and there is loads of different moves on it now, and loads of different
That's what I
ways
mean.
and
That's what I
moves
mean.
moving around.
If you brought the original Mario back now, yeah, it's why I think certain games don't work anymore. So like stuff like old school games that we used to play, like Sonic and all these kind of style of games. You know, you played them platform games and stuff in the past. You played them with like 2 buttons.
Right.
So you only had like very limited amount of ability to do, and I just feel like now, if you bring those sort of games forward, if you don't have more features or more things to do in a game, you automatically assume you should have because it's like a new game.
Hmm.
Whereas because they've made a game that looks older,
Yeah, you can
you
keep it
don't
pretty
really
basic.
care about it. You can make it basic because you expect it to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just
That was just my opinion of it.
just a quick overview of the game then. So basically, as we said last week, there's 3 ways to win the game. You get to play as a queen. The queen can take over these portals, which changes them to your colour, which basically means your bees can go on those, and then the opposition can't. While they're not taken over by any of the queen bees, you can still use those portals. It's just a free for all of which if you're one of the worker bees, you can go into that and you can change to you basically kind of upgrade your bee, don't you, to like speed or like a soldier or I think there was another one I can't remember what that one was now. The 3 ways to win is your queen has 3 lives. It loses all 3 lives. Obviously, you'll lose. You can collect berries, honey berries. What was it? It was little berries, wasn't it? So
Aries, yeah.
you collect the berries and you can put the berries in the hole in your nest. So you fill all those holes up, you win. Or there was a snail in the middle that you both kind of both teams are competing to get on at the back of. Cross that over your line, you can win. Now the game I would say was very well balanced because I think even on that night there was every way you can possibly win. It happened, didn't it, throughout the night? Probably the harder one of the 3 is to get the snail over the line, But I think if you get the
Yeah.
speed boost, it just makes it a little bit easier because your snail speeds up. Did you also know, Mike, that you could throw the berries into the holes?
Not
So
as the not as the dudes, no.
yeah, you don't have to just jump up and then like when they feed them in, you can actually throw them up into your holes as well.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
I
No.
found this out a couple of days ago in a forum on Discord.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was a good hectic, very hectic game. There was times when we thought, as the queen, you're looking out for yourself because you've got 3 lives, you can't lose them. You've got to look out for the snail because you're going to knock the guy off the snail. You're
Yeah.
also trying to watch down in their nest to see if they've got, if you only need 1 or 2 more berries, you need to kind of protect that and stop them from doing that. And at the same time, you're still trying to take their queen out. So it's as the queen, it's kind of a hectic role. As the soldiers, it can be more of it's a little bit more of a grind, but it's you've got to choose a role of what you want to do. Ride the snail. You can also, as the worker, you can lay down in front of the snail, and the snail will eat you, which in turn stops it. So you're kind of
Yeah.
slowing them down, and you've got to choose this role, and it was good. I quite enjoyed it. To say, when I first initially looked at the photos and the videos, I was like, "What the hell is this?" Um, I thought it was quite good, and I did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it. I think it has some really clever mechanics in it for sure.
Yeah, there's a
Um
there's a big ambassador, Xbox ambassador play, what they call a play date on this coming Sunday,
all
where
right,
obviously
okay.
there's going to be loads of people online going on that one game, so that'll be a good time to join in and try and play. I think it's 5:30 UK time, so the servers will be nice and full. So it'd be good to get on then. Unfortunately, I'm running Tough Mudder, so I won't be able to. But if you are about, Mike, that's something maybe if you wanted to
Maybe.
give
Maybe.
that a go.
Depends how long it runs for.
I think it runs for a couple of hours, I think, but aye. I won't go on too much. We'll keep trying to push on because we're 47 minutes in now. I'll quickly go
All right.
through a couple of just 2 of the games that I've played this week. So I've actually gone through. I did say Immortals, Fenyx Rise, Need for Speed, Splitgate, Killer Queen, Black. 2 games I've actually finished this week as well is Dodgeball Arcadamia.
Okay.
Now that's you take on the role of a character called Otto in a RPG story-driven campaign where this young lad wants to be this dodgeball champion, and basically you're going through this little story, doing your little fetch missions, running around this campus, and then the idea is you're playing these mini games of dodgeball. But as you're doing these fetch missions and leveling up your character, you can also equip them with different like pieces of equipment that'll give him better attributes, which have gives him buffs. But in turn, obviously, like most RPGs, they also have a little bit of a debuff as well. But that was good. I enjoyed that. I finished that. It took me about 7 hours. It was fun, relaxing, frustrating at times, but if you get a chance, give it a little go and see what you think.
Fair enough.
I did quite enjoy that one. And the last game that I played was Katamari Damacy. I'm waiting for the little snigger from Mike.
Captain Galaxy.
Right, he wasn't listening, clearly. Katamari Damacy.
Oh, that was close. Captain Galaxy. I want to play a game called Captain Galaxy. I
No,
like it.
Katamari Damacy. So
What's this?
you
Oh,
you
okay. Yeah,
remember
yeah, I
this
know.
one? I played this one back on the
Yeah, yeah,
PlayStation back in the day.
yeah,
So this
yeah, yeah.
is you have the King of Cosmos. He destroys the night sky, ridding it of all planets and stars and stuff like that. They fall down to, I think they fall down to Earth or something, or like crumble up. Uh, so he destroys all the planets in the universe apart from Earth, and then it's up to you as the Prince of Cosmos to reverse the damage what the king has done by using a little ball, and you have to roll up all the little bits that are on Earth. So say your ball is the size of a thimble, all you can roll up is thimbles. So then as you roll the thimbles up, your ball gets bigger, and then you can roll up bigger things to the point where you are literally rolling up skyscrapers and then big giant squids out the sea and God knows what else. And it's just absolutely crazy nonsense. The game is a load of bollocks, as in, it just doesn't make any sense, but it is very, very addictive.
Okay.
So each mission or challenge, so to speak, you go into each game and it'll say to you, right, you need to roll up a 12-meter ball. Your ball is currently 5 centimeters in diameter. You need to get it 12 meters in diameter. You have 10 minutes to do that. And then you just set free into this little world. You have to use both analog sticks to move. So you push them both forwards to go forwards. Let go of the left, and obviously it'll push left because you're pushing it with your right, if you know what I mean, pushing it on the right side, and vice
Yeah.
versa. And there's a couple of little moves in there. Not that I used them.
Like
Again,
like tank steering.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you've ever played that game with the fish, where or the shark or whatever it is, where you're that little tiny shark and you can just go left or right. Then you have to get the slightly smaller fish, and you get bigger and bigger and bigger until you can eat the other fish. But you can't be
Oh
eaten.
yeah.
You can't be eaten by those bigger fish. Very
Yeah.
similar concept, but you were not going to get rolled up. There's things that'll hit you that are a bit bigger than you, and what'll happen is they'll knock items off your ball, so they'll make your ball smaller again.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's quite a good little concept. There's a bit of multiplayer in there where you can battle against each other over a time limit, so you can roll the biggest ball in a certain amount of time. But again, I finished that one. Took me 4 hours 40 minutes. I probably would have said any longer than 5 hours, and I'd have gave up with it because it was good. It was 4 hours and 40 minutes was enough. 5 hours was enough to play that game. Anymore, I'd just probably been like, oh, I'm bored of this now.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think the principle wears off?
I think so, yeah, because all you're doing is rolling stuff up.
Yeah.
Every time you start small and you get bigger, you start small. The next challenge you get bigger, and so on. And you keep going and going and going, and then there's just got to be a point where you go, I can't be arsed this anymore. But there was probably just enough gameplay in there to not to get bored, and it was enjoyable.
Is there any? Is it? Would you say there's any replay mechanic, like replayable mechanics added to it?
No, certainly not.
Like, would you go back to? Would you go back to it once you've?
It's the second time I've played it through. I played it on the PlayStation years ago. Kind of brought back a bit of nostalgia there. They've not done
Maybe.
they've not done a great deal with it since the PlayStation days, which is good. Don't fuck with it. It wasn't broken. Just keep it as it is.
Maybe they're just remastering it to see whether people will play it, and then yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I just wanted to briefly touch on those that I'd finished. I don't want to go on too much longer. I know you've been playing a game that I want to ask you about.
Yep.
And that was Curse of the
I
Dead
stopped.
Gods.
All right, sorry. I thought you were going to say My Little Pony, but I stopped playing that a while ago.
No, well, I know you got stuck on that though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
First
My
level.
my pony died.
First level, he got on the wrong pony. It wasn't his little pony.
Exactly. Yeah, Curse of the Gods. Yeah, I played it out on Xbox Game Pass, so downloaded it. Roguelike dungeon style crawler game.
Dead Cells.
Yeah, you pointed out to me that it is, or you think it is, by the creators of Dead Cell.
I think it is the same creators of Dead Cells. I think it's kind of a sequel as such, or has some nods back to Dead Cells.
Okay, cool. The biggest thing I would say, I played Dead Cells. I played some of Dead Cells, and I played this. So it's not the same view. Dead Cells was a 2D side scroller platform game. This is very much Diablo style isometric view, I think it's called. Not quite top down. However, the principle of the game is that you are trying to go through a temple, and the temple has different rooms on a map, basically, and you pick which way you want to go through the temple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the rooms are different. So you might have a room where you can get gold coins. You might be a room where you can get attribute points. There might be a room where you can get more health again. You've got your health back. There's rooms where you can get weapons, and there's rooms where there's a vault and other stuff, and it goes on, right? The thing with this is every time you play one of these temples, because there is different versions of the temples with different enemy types and stuff, they are procedurally generated. So every time you go back to one, it's remade differently than last time, which effectively, in my opinion, isn't quite as true as procedural generated as we know. You know, like when they procedurally generate a dungeon,
Yeah.
it's the full dungeon.
Yeah.
But all they're doing is procedurally generating what order the rooms are going to come in
Right.
on the
Okay.
map. So you're just picking them, but you just get different options to pick at different times, but you pick differently anyway when you're playing.
Right. Okay.
So it's like you're not really, you are, but you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll never play the same. You'll never play this. That's actually a lie. You could potentially play the same run more than once because you have choices. They could procedurally generate in a way that you could therefore use the choices to do it the same way as you've done it before.
So is
Um,
this in a similar way to I forget the game now. It was on the tip of my tongue there. A game we mentioned where I was close quarters, you were the bow person, if you know what I mean, the archer, and Children's a Mortar. So is it in the same sense of that, where every time you went in, the level re-rolled each time, or
um,
or is there some
no,
aspect of you choose something and that decides on how that's going to play out?
you've got like you start it right, but there's different versions of the temple.
Right.
So there's like level one temple means you've got so many rooms before you hit before you hit a boss,
Yeah.
right? Then you go to the next level, and now you've got two bosses. So you'll hit so many rooms, then you'll hit a boss. So many rooms, you'll hit a boss, and
Right.
that'll
Okay.
be it. Finished. It'll be completed, and then it progressively gets higher and further on. Eventually to the top of the temple, where you defeat the final boss, and that's it, right? But you have to you come out of them. So if you so the first level, if you do, I think it's 6 rooms or something. If you do all of these rooms and you fight the boss, you get 100% mark. You've completed that. You'll now go back to the beginning. But now you've unlocked the bigger version of that temple.
Right.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that temple is because there's different. There's serpent temple, there's a mage temple, and something else. So you've got different enemy types that you're going to fight, and effectively different bosses that you're going to fight. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
but that's your choice. You can pick which temples you want to go through. Some are better to fight than other ones and stuff like that, right? But when you pick one, so say you pick the first one, when you say you pick the serpent temple, right? So you're effectively going to fight serpent enemies and some other types of creatures that are in that sort of temple because you're picking like the theme of the temple.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way of putting it. Now, as soon as you click on that, the first thing it's going to bring up is a map where right at the very top of the map is it's not even really a map, it's more like a flow diagram.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And right at the very top will be the boss,
Yeah. So it's like
and then you
stairs type of thing, and then it flows off. Is that what you mean?
yeah, it's just like yeah, I think they've got like little icons, right? So you'll have the boss up here
Yeah.
as like a little skull, and then underneath him you'll have like maybe an attribute room, maybe a gold room here, and maybe like a healing room here.
So you
And
you
then
you
you
can choose your path at that
yeah,
point.
and you'll have lines that cross between them all to give you effectively a path to get to the end position. But every time you get to a level within the temple, you get to pick which room you go to next as a choice.
Right. Okay.
So when you first start, you might get a gold room, and an attribute point room, right?
Yeah.
But then above that, you might get another gold room above the attribute one, and then maybe a healing after it, and then something else, and then the boss. And then the other one, you might get like a weapon, a healing, and something else, and they sometimes cross between each other. So you can effectively pick whichever room in what order you want to go in to get to the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some rooms might benefit you. So you might be like, oh, I don't really want to go to an attribute point room or a weapon room because I have to pay money to buy a weapon and I don't have any. But I have a gold room I can go to, so I'll go for gold this time.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a bit of a choice, which is actually quite nice. But what I mean by the procedural part is that bit's the bit that's being procedurally generated,
Right.
not what's in the actual game when you go into it.
Yeah. I see what you're
The
saying.
the room
I'm
the
trying to.
rooms are.
I've played games very
I
similar to that
think
concept.
I think that's true. I don't know. I don't know if you go into a gold room every time because the gold room have like other traps in them
Right.
and like they spread the gold around in them. I don't know if they have if they're procedurally generated when you go in them and they're very different every time. I don't know, but I would have to say that I've been in a bunch of rooms already. I played through it a couple of times. Obviously, as you go through it with it being a rogue style game,
Hmm.
and I've been through some rooms that are identical to the room I've been in before,
Right.
or been in another run. So they don't always get procedurally generated themselves. I personally believe there's a bunch of rooms that exist, and the procedurally generated is just procedurally generating which rooms are in which order,
Right.
effectively. But anyway, enough of that. You get to pick; it's kind of fun. Um, the main focus of the game, though, is you're trying to get to the boss or bosses as you go through it, proceed and try and get as far as you can. Um, there's weapons, so you've got like a main weapon, an offhand weapon, and then a two-handed weapon.
Hmm.
When you start the game out, you first start out, you've got like a door in front of you, you've got a shrine where you can spend tokens and points, and this basically unlocks other weapons or it gives you passive talents. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one that you can get is it gives you there's two actually. One, you can spend points and upgrade where you are.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is you can upgrade there's weapon shrines. So when you start the game, the weapon shrine will procedurally generate two weapons for you, a main hand and an offhand. If you unlock more of these shrines, then obviously when you start again, you have more options of what weapon type you want to take with you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah.
So, like the first shrine, there's a five of these. You start off with one when you first play the game. When that loads up, it might be a dagger and a shield that'll appear,
Hmm.
and you don't have any other options. You have to pick that one. So you pick it up, you play the game with a dagger and a shield. Now you'll be able to change it throughout the game as you're fighting things. You'll pick up other stuff, or you'll buy another weapon or whatever. But at the very start, the choice is just that one that's there.
Right.
If you buy more weapon shrines, so if you had 4 weapon shrines, when the game starts, before you go through the door and start your temple, you'll be offered 4 different sets of weapons. Now you have a choice of what weapons you want to start with.
To go. Yeah. To go in and go
Yeah,
through.
so you can pick which one you want. The other points that you can spend in this area is to upgrade those shrines. So they start with a better weapon, effectively.
Right. Yeah.
Like a tier 1 or a tier 2 or tier 3, or a chance to get a better weapon. The other one is that you can spend some points and it'll have the ability so you unlock the two-handed weapon as well.
Yeah.
Because you actually do have all 3 weapons in the game and you carry all 3 throughout the game.
Right.
So you have all of these weapons on them and they're just different buttons to press. So it's like X is one, Y is another, and B is the other one. 2 handed weapons are pretty powerful, so it's kind of a good upgrade. You will replace these as you go through your run because there is weapon shrines that you can spend money at or favor at or whatever. And then the last one, the last one you can spend points in lets you increase the amount of chances that you have this thing called favor, right? And what that is say you go to a weapon shrine, so you go through the game, you maybe do a gold room, and the next room's a weapons room.
Right.
Yeah. When you click on the weapons room, you go in, you fight some enemies, and then there'll be a shrine, which will be a weapon shrine. When you click on that, it will give you 3 different weapons to pick.
You
You
just
can
choose
either
one of them.
you can only buy one of them.
Yeah.
They're progressively better, so more expensive as you go through the 3 of them. You can either buy them with money or you can buy them with corruption, which I'll move on to what corruption is in a minute. If you don't, they're just generated, so you don't know which ones are going to appear. Whichever ones you have unlocked, it's a chance of any of those appearing, basically. Yeah.
Hmm.
The favor lets you re-roll what appears.
Right.
So if you have 10, if you'd spent all your points in these rerolls, now these things that you unlock at the start are things that stay unlocked forever. Yeah. So if you unlock 2 or 3 favors, they're not expensive to unlock, but if you unlock them, then when you get to a weapon shrine, you might get to one, you might have a lot of money, you want to buy a decent weapon, and when they appear, they're not the best weapons, or they're not the weapon type that you like, because there's multiple main hand weapons, multiple side weapons, multiple two-handed weapons. You might want a particular one. You can therefore press a button and you'll refresh what these are. You get a new choice now of picking something else. So that's quite neat that they give you that option. Last but not least is a thing called. There's two mechanics here: corruption and there's light and dark. And I'll say these things and then I'll tell you to go play it because it's actually quite a good game. There's 2 mechanics. One is the light and dark. Now, when you start the game, you've got your weapons, but you've also got a torch in your hand. You can't have the torch out and have your weapons out at the same time.
Right.
You can attack with the torch, and it sets things on fire. So you can hit an enemy with it, it'll set the enemy on fire. And there's also torch fires around the map that you can set on fire and light them up, right?
Right.
If you don't have your torch out, you're in the dark, and this is depicted by there's like a little logo at the bottom of your screen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dark skull if you're in the dark, and there's a light skull if you're not in the dark, you're in the light, right? In the light, you take 50% less damage when you're in the light.
Right.
When you're in the dark, you take more, right? You take 50% more, right? When you're in the light, you can see traps on the floor. When you're in the dark, you can't.
Right.
So now you have to be careful between when you have light on and when you don't. So normally when you walk into a room, there might be a couple of torches about. So generally speaking, you would go up to them, you would light those torches while fighting enemies. So you're effectively in the light. Because if you're in the light and you put your torch away, that torch is giving you light.
Okay.
Yeah? So now you've not gone in the dark, so now you can get a weapon out and you don't have 50% damage increase
So
because you're still in the light.
What's the benefit of you being in the dark then?
There isn't really a benefit of being in the dark apart from
You've got your weapon.
you can only fight in the dark.
Right. Okay.
You can only fight with your weapons out.
Yeah.
So you either need to use a torch to do it, or you need your own handheld torch, or you need to light something in the room
Right. Okay.
to give you light in the room, so you're therefore in the light. Now, it's an interesting game mechanic. It's quite simple when you start watching it and then playing with it and stuff. That's fine. There's a couple of good things in there. So there's like dodge. Dodge is a good one. That's on one of the triggers. The other trigger is roll. Is parry. Sorry. So you can parry attacks. You can do these just normally, but you can do them as a perfect. So you can do a perfect dodge if you time it perfectly. You can do a perfect parry if you time it perfectly. They give you benefits of doing that, like buffs if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got fighting. All of these things that you do cost stamina, and you've got stamina points underneath you.
Right.
So if you go mental fighting someone and keep hitting them, you'll use stamina points to hit them, and then you might not have any points left to dodge.
Right. Okay.
You've got a bit of a resource management going on, right? So there's that part which makes it quite interesting. And last but not least is corruption. So you have a corruption bar when you start off. As you go through a door into a room, you gain corruption. So you gain 20 corruption every time you go through a door. There's other game mechanics that can give you a corruption. There's also when you get to a shrine, like an attribute point shrine or a weapon shrine where you can buy product, you don't have to spend gold. You can spend corruption. Okay, so it might be 500 gold to buy this weapon or 70 corruption to buy it, right? If you get 100 corruption, the next time you go through a door, you will gain a curse.
Right.
And the curses are like a double-edged sword. So there may be kind of a benefit and kind of a negative at the same time.
Right.
I'll give you like a very simple one. One was you couldn't use, because you can pick other items up in the game. You can pick relics which buff you up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was you couldn't use one of your relic slots could no longer be used, so you could only have 4 relics, not 5. But in return, you got 6 favors to use.
Right. Okay.
So it's like double edge, isn't it? Like it's a bad thing but a good thing at the same time. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
There was another one where um, as long as you had, it's really weirdly written, but as long as you had less than 30 kills, you took 50% more damage,
Right. Okay.
right? But you had haste, so you could run quicker,
Mm-hmm.
but you gained 50% more damage while you had that curse active, but it only lasted until you killed 30 people.
Right.
The curse stayed on, so you still kept haste. You kept haste forever after that point, but you had this 50% extra damage done to you, which is pretty bad, to be fair. So there's those things. As you progress through, there is ways of reducing how much corruption you have. If you play a temple where there's multiple bosses, every time you kill a boss, you can remove a curse to make it a bit easier. At the bottom of the screen where your curse bar is, you can have up to 5 curses, but the 5th curse is always horrific, like really bad.
Right.
Not double-edged sword stuff. It's really bad. So you don't really want to get to that point, in all honesty. So there's quite a lot of management to do, but I find it pretty good. I find it pretty infuriating at the start, like dying really easily over stupid things. But then you start realizing that you can dodge quite easily. You can manage your stamina better. You can do some good fighting. There's charge up hits, so you can kill multiple people at the same time. And then you start realizing whether you're in the light or dark. And then when you start unlocking some like passive abilities, where you maybe do more damage in certain situations or whatever like that. And then you start getting relics and your weapons that have additional abilities. So they may be you gain 25% more damage while in the light,
Right.
or 50% extra damage while in dark. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You start getting all of these additional bonuses added to your character, and you can pause the game anytime and you can have a look at what's been added to your character. And basically, yeah, those things are quite good because they make you play the game a bit differently. I mean, if you had a weapon that give you, I'll give you a good one. I had a 200 weapon which was a bomb that did 50% more damage to people who were weakened, and I had a sword that its finishing move, so that means the end of its combo. So if you hit something 3 times, you do a finisher. The finishing move would weaken the enemy. So now I've got a combination between the two of them, where if I attack with a bomb and weaken an enemy, I now should use my sword afterwards because I would do 50% more damage to anything that was weakened. So there's quite a lot of like linking game mechanics going on. Gets pretty intense with that sort of stuff, and pretty cool to kind of think of how those work together and how you could do it a bit better and what other things you could do next time that you did wrong this time and stuff. But it's got a lot of replay value, very good. I thought it was pretty cool. One thing that I don't know whether it's new, but I only just noticed it this time was where the temples are, where you pick them. They actually have a daily one as well,
Right.
and it's got like a really like unique mechanic in it. The last one I played was you only had a 2-handed weapon, and it was a specific weapon you were given right at the very start,
Right.
like a level 3 weapon, and there was like some other kind of caveats to that run, and you had to try and get as far as you could with it. But all your progression, all the stuff you unlocked by doing that was added to your normal game. So you're never not getting any further. You're always getting further because you're always getting skulls or rings or whatever that you can spend on things
Yeah.
that will help you in the future.
That sounds like a good game. I'll have to give it a go myself.
Yeah, it's really good. It's single player, but rogue style games should be really, in my opinion.
It was
There
good.
is. I don't know if there's leaderboards, but there is like it does tell you when you've completed them and how quickly you completed them and all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of challenge your mates to do one of the levels quicker than you or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like I don't need to play it though now. I feel like you've just told me everything in the game.
Yeah.
No,
Um.
it was a good 25-minute insight into a game there, Curse of the Dead Gods. So
Yeah.
that
I
was
might do. I might do a video on it.
yeah. You'd have to do one, and we'll upload that up for everyone to view.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously we pushing on well over an hour now. So should we push on? Is there anything else you kind of want to quickly mention, game wise?
I think so.
All I was just going to mention now, basically, kind of just before we kind of head off and cut this off, is obviously I've got a couple of betas to play. One of them we already have played. One of them is FIFA 22. I've got there, which I've gone on the wayside with FIFA, but I'm going to give it a go and see what it's like. Surely to God, it can't get any worse than the last one or the last two, at least. So
You,
I'll
you,
give that a go this week, and I'll come back
you
and
you asked my opinion of it before of
yeah.
FIFA and what I made of it. In my honest opinion, I feel like it's gone a little bit arcadey.
Um,
I don't feel like because of the stuff that we've seen in the game and felt by playing the game. I feel
yeah.
like it's less
The problem they've got right is
skill.
they're trying to change far too much, so then it's nothing like the last game, right? But then what they're not concentrating on is the issues and the bugs and the freaking problems with the game are exactly the same year after year and probably getting worse because of
But
the new bits that they're putting in.
yeah, and this is the problem, right? So this is where pairs or whatever it's going to be called now, e-soccer, um, might win
Oh,
out because what
soccer.
is that what it's called? E-soccer,
E-football. Come on, mate.
e-football. Oh,
We're in the UK.
it was made in Japan originally. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure they
in
call it
America
soccer.
it's probably called e-soccer, but over here, mate, we call it e-football.
Okay, I just thought that was what you called it. Um, what I mean is, right? FIFA have when they make it because they make a game every year,
Yeah,
which is let's face it, on a football game, they've copped out on that too much because they're just making money year after year after year for nothing, right?
but but I know you're gonna say there, but they're making a game year after year after year. But when they had that campaign mode, right? That campaign mode was brilliant. The story in it, everything. I absolutely loved it, and I played that every single year. Then they've got scrapped that and put this Volta mode in, which don't get me wrong is good, and we've been asking for like the FIFA Street, five-a-side football or something like that we can play with your friends. We didn't say get rid of the freaking campaign though. This story-driven, wicked campaign with this young lad coming through the ranks.
Probably costs too much money.
Fucking. That's what
But
spoiled it.
what I mean is they have to put something big in and change enough every time they release a new FIFA. Otherwise, people just won't buy it.
That's the thing. I don't think they need to, because I tell you now, Pro Evo has not done that since day dot. And the only thing they've put in recently, well, I'll say
Well,
recently, it's been for a
until
little while,
until they broke it
is
after PES 7 or whatever
they
it
went
was.
backwards. That's why it was weird.
It was really
Uh,
good, and then they broke it.
like Pro Evo 6, I think for me was one of the best ones, and then it just suddenly went kind of back over to like ISS Pro Evolution days, back on the friggin' PlayStation.
Yeah,
So what are you
but
doing?
I don't get it. It's a football game. Keep tuning it.
Yeah, just tweak
Every
the
year,
little
keep tuning it,
mechanics and
make it
whatnot.
better, make it. Yeah,
You know,
if you
you've
get to
brought
a point,
this year. They brought women's football in it even more. You've got the woman commentator in there now. You can play as a woman now in the. Do you know what you can play as a single player? I can't remember what it's called now. Be a pro mode, so you can play
yeah,
as a woman
bro,
in
yeah.
that now. That type of thing. Just keep adding these little bolt-ons on. Don't try and go like here we go. We've done this now. You can, you know,
But
you can drive to the matches now. That'll be the next thing.
well, they must do it. They seem to get enough money out of it. That's probably why they do it.
Yeah. Uh, but
Well,
yeah,
anyway. You have a bit of
I'll
key.
play it, and
Play
then
it.
I'll let you know what my thoughts are.
You can give us some feedback on here. You can tell us what you think.
Yeah,
But there's lots of people out there that love FIFA and would never not play FIFA, and that's their choice. And if they want to do that, that's fantastic. Um, well, let's give our honest opinion of them. So if you play the beta of that, we'll also get e-soccer. I mean e-football. Um,
done that on purpose.
and
I
and we'll, and we'll and we'll give that a go, and we'll give our opinions of that, and see what other people think. See if they agree or not
yeah,
with what our opinions are. Maybe it's
uh,
an age thing.
possibly, quite possibly. So yeah, FIFA 22. I'm going to give that a go this week. Back for
Yeah.
Blood. I think Back for Blood, the open beta open is on this week for everyone. So I'd be quite keen to get on that again. We've played a bit of that. I don't want to go too much into that because obviously we were pushing for time now.
No, but it's just like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, it's basically Left 4 Dead. I think what we'll do is we'll get on again on that. I think this week, and we'll
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about that next week.
Yeah, sounds good. I think so.
Because I
That's a good
think
idea.
we haven't done enough in it to. It's good. It's brilliant. The gun mechanic in it is brilliant. They've definitely got that right this time round over Left 4 Dead. How hard it is. It starts off fairly easy and gets harder as it pushes on. That's as much as I'm going to say. I'm just saying, if you've got the beta or you've got access to the beta, get on there because it was a very good co-op game. It's a bit shit when you're playing with idiots. When it says "Don't scare the birds," and you get some dickhead going and running at the birds and lobbing grenades
Or
about.
shooting them.
God knows, you're like fucking idiot. But yeah, get on that.
Play
I'll
that
give that a
sort of
go.
game. That sort of game. Play the game.
Yeah,
If you play the game and some people on your team are good
yeah.
and they seem okay, send them a fucking party request.
You've definitely got to have a good team.
Send a party request, all that sort of stuff. The other thing that people are doing a lot of now, which is something that I want to mention, obviously you can make groups
Yeah.
and stuff on the looking for group post on the Xbox
LFG.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could go on there, even post your own one with your own rules, get people to join it, and then play the game with some people like that, or join someone else's that have some decent rules and stuff, so you're not playing with people, you don't want to be playing with. The other way of doing it, which a lot of people are going down this road now, is Discord. So most games have a Discord channel that you can jump on, and you can find some people that are like you and similar to you, or at least have the similar mindset goals as you
Yeah.
to play these sort of games with people if you don't have, the right amount of people to do it.
Or send us a message and jump on with us.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, we play with people, but I'd be more than happy to play with some other people. We have a Discord that we don't have anything in yet, which we'll need to sort
Yeah,
out.
we do need to sort that out. Obviously, currently
Um,
we're Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Instagram seems to be taking off a fair bit lately, so we can kind of push that out
yeah,
more.
we'll have to like manage these as we push them forward and get more people interested in them and stuff. But we will get a Discord chat going, and we will play. We play
We're
games.
still fresh. We're
I'm
still
happy
new.
with it.
We're still getting through this.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
we're a
Hmm.
pair of old bastards. We're kids, and we love gaming. And I wouldn't say we're shit at gaming. I wouldn't say we're no professionals. We have our
I would,
strengths and weaknesses.
yeah, I would say we're good. I would say we're decent gamers. We're not particularly epic at all games, that's for sure. And one of the main contributing factors of that is probably the fact that we don't have a lot of time
Yeah,
to play games consistently all day, every day. Like we can't do that anymore. We're past that point. Um,
we have
but we
jobs,
play them.
kids.
Yeah, but we enjoy games enough, and we're enthusiastic about games and the gaming community that we do stuff like this with the podcast and share our thoughts because we do this anyway with each other, and want to bring more people into that kind of fold. So
Yeah.
please join us. enjoy it and
This
keep
all
us on the right track.
this all started obviously us chatting now. We were doing this on a day-to-day basis while we were playing games, which I still think we do. We're going to put some recordings out there and record some of our gameplay footage, probably us chatting as well at the same time. I'd be quite keen to kind of put it out there and kind of try and meet some like-minded people and see what we can do and achieve together. Who knows what the future holds? If anybody else wants
Yeah,
to,
I mean we have a bunch of people that we play games with.
yeah,
Definitely used to do that a bit more, but life does get in the way of things like that, and it is sometimes hard. I do think it's a hard thing to find people that play the games that you like, and I'll play them when you like them, and I'll play them at the same time as you, and all this kind of good stuff. So,
yeah.
we'll definitely, if that comes about, and people are interested, then definitely get some kind of Discord group going or whatever, and we'll sort out some games sessions with people, and we can all
Aye.
jump on together and talk about some stuff.
So, right, last thing before we head off is
Okay.
time in the UK currently is 11:40. In 20 minutes time, what I'm going to do and what hopefully Mike is going to do is we're going to set a game off called Hades downloading. In fact, mine's already pre-downloaded. So Mike's going to set his off downloading because that's another one I think that's a rogue type game as well where I think you know
It is a rogue style game. I have looked at it.
I'm going
It's
to give
more
that a go this week and I'm going to chat about
it's
that one as
more
well.
cartoony feel
Yeah.
to the
But
graphics and stuff.
that did win a lot of awards in the
Yeah, so I'm
last
not
year.
against playing it. I think what could be quite good is
Comparison.
you play Hades for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Um, even I'm quite happy to wait to play it. So you play Hades until maybe we do another recording,
Yeah.
and then we swap,
Yeah. Can do, yeah.
and then once we swap, then we've got another
We
week
could
before
we
we can
could
come back
we
and
could do we could do it where we obviously we both play them both this week to be fair.
yeah, we could do that. That's
Hades
fine.
and then you can make your decision on which one you prefer and vice versa
Mhm.
and we'll go
Yeah,
from
yeah.
there. But yeah,
Okay, sounds good.
20 minute, well, less than 20 minutes now. I'll be putting that on download. So again, Hades, Back for Blood, and FIFA 22 is kind of my goal this week to get through those, have another go on them, and then we will chat in more depth next week about them.
Sounds good.
Um, that's all I have anyway. I don't know if you've got anything else to add before we go.
No,
Our
just
longest
still
longest one yet.
still looking forward to a Battlefield, but we'll wait for that one.
Oh yes, we've still got 2 months. Is 2 months? October.
It's October, so I'm not really thinking about it until
2 months. 2 months.
September's finished.
Right.
But anyway, that was good. Good.
Yep. Yep. So
Take it
that's
easy.
that's me done. So yeah, if you want to catch me on all social media, Xbox Live, Z Crisis 2, Mike.
Yeah, I am Mike too. You can catch me on Xbox, and other social media things. You can also, just before I go, you can catch me on the streams and stuff for Trailmakers as well, because I do the weekly challenge every week, or most weeks at least. And they have a nice stream on there that you can join, nice Discord, stuff like that. So if you haven't checked that out and you like building some things, jump on there and join in and stuff. You might see me. That's also I might too on there as well.
Yep. So we have a Facebook page. Like I said, Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube. We have a
Yeah,
Discord channel. Feel free to jump on there and ask to join. I'll pop links in across Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching this or listening to this. I'll pop a link in there somewhere. Check us out. If you like what you see, come back, listen to more, watch some more. If
if
you
you
don't,
don't,
if you
if
don't,
you don't
put
like
it
what
on
you see,
anyway. Put it on anyway because we get some hits for it, and that's
well,
fine.
no, but if you don't, also tell us what you would like to see, because if you
No,
like
because
something, if you like something we do, then I would like to know, and we can talk about that more.
if you
It
don't
doesn't
like
mean I'm
it, and if you don't
necessarily
like
going to
it,
do it.
fuck off.
I've been saying that to you for years, but you're still here.
Well, mate, you know, I wish there was a button here now because I could just get rid of you, kick him out. See you later.
It's called the turn the call off button, but never mind.
Right, anyway, yeah, I'm Craig.
Anyway,
This is Mike. Thanks for listening or watching.
yeah,
Take it easy.
yeah. Bye for now.